and concerned about the total environment and its associated problems. And they must have the knowledge, attitude, skill, motivation, and commitment to work individually and collectively towards solution of current problems and the prevention of new ones. The goal of environmental education is to develop a world population that is aware of and concerned about the total environment and its associated problems. And they must have the knowledge, attitude, skill, motivation, and commitment to work individually and collectively towards solution of current problems and the prevention of new ones. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining Continuous Professional Development Program for Professionals in Environment Sector. We're delighted to have you here. You might spend some of your evening with us. Continuous Professional Development Program for Professionals in Environment Sector is created to offer lifelong learning opportunities for environmental professionals. As we know, the field of environmental science is constantly evolving with new regulations and scientific discoveries emerging rapidly. Hence, professionals must continually update their knowledge to remain effective in addressing complex environmental challenges. The goal of environmental education is to develop a world population that is aware of and concerned about the environment and its associated problems. And they must have the knowledge, skills, attitudes, motivations, and commitment to work individually and collectively towards solutions of current problems and the prevention of new ones. Continuous Professional Development Program for Professionals in the Environment Sector is a knowledge-based product of EcoEnviroTalk with the aim of developing a credit-based program for the development of professionals in the environment sector. We're delighted to have you here. I am Mande Seriki, a climate and sustainability professional who is passionate about developing green growth strategies for cities and organizations. Please go ahead and introduce yourself in the comment section, in the chat box section. We would like to meet you. Thank you very much. Without further ado, I will present our guest speaker for today, who is no other person of Mr. Lasisi Adedoyin. Title of our program today, the topic that he will be taking today, is Principle of Environmental Monitoring, Compliance, and Enforcement. A short bio about Mr. Lasisi. He is a seasoned professional and administrator with the Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, with a master's in environmental resources management, and has undergone environmental leadership training at the University of California at Berkeley, USA. He also has undergone trainings with UNESCO IG at Delft, Netherlands, Global Environmental Center Foundation in Osaka, Japan, and a host of others. He is a certified health, safety, and environment trainer with over 20 years career as an environmental scientist. His work spans through various aspects of environmental management and protection, such as solid waste, water pollution, climate change, environmental governance, and environmental impact assessments. In the past year, Mr. Lasisi has taken part in more than 50 research work and published more than 30 papers and is the author of 5 books. He's attended several technical and public reviews on environmental impact assessments on development projects in Lagos State. Please give Mr. Lasisi a warm welcome. Please you can use the emojis. Thank you. Mr. Lasisi, you have I pass the mic to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the brief introduction. And I think let's share the polls if it's available. Let's share the polls now if it's available. Let's see. Okay, the polls is on. We can take the polls in a minute or two, then after we'll start with the presentation. I think we're having a challenge with the polls. Let me start with the presentation where we go for the polls again later.
Okay, I'll stop then.
Good evening, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Like I have earlier been introduced, my name is Adedoyin Lasisi, and I work with Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources. Today, we'll be discussing about principle of environmental monitoring, compliance, and enforcement. And why is this topic very crucial and important? Often we hear in the newspaper, we hear around that most Lagosians, people say Ministry of Environment goes around to seal their property, arrest, or do one thing or the other. And most are not fully aware about the procedure by which government's workings are. So today, not only to talk to professional colleagues in the field of environment, also we have some general public who are with us. What are the bases by which environmental enforcement are done in the states? So that's the main focus for today. So today, generally, the general learning outcome of today's lecture will be understand the basis of environmental monitoring, compliance, and enforcement. What are the various laws and regulations guiding monitoring, compliance, and enforcement? What are the types of monitoring that we have? What is the framework available for environmental monitoring? So, and if one is doing environmental monitoring at this century, what types of things should we look for? What are the checklists? What are the modern technology that can be used for monitoring? And what is the basis of environmental compliance? And what are the legal framework for enforcement, most especially in the state? The outline will understand the various definitions. Why do we need environmental monitoring, compliance, and enforcement? What are these various sources of law available? And what is the purpose, objectives, goals, and principle of environmental monitoring? What are the types of monitoring that we are familiar with and the one we are discussing today? How do we monitor the environment? How do we monitor the environment? That what we don't monitor, what we don't look out for, where there's no basis for comparison, there's no basis for enforcement. We'll try and look at some of the checklists available, then understand enforcement. And what is the way forward for us in the state? So if we look at it, what is environment generally? If you want to define, you take that environment is general, the surrounding of a person. So which means your environment not only influence you socially, it's influence you earthwise. A person living in Banana Island and a person living in Ajegule, they are living in their environment, but the environment can affect them socially, and it can also affect them physically. So environment refers to the ecological dimension, that means the ecosystem. It's not only take account into the social dimension, that means the quality of life. It also takes charge of the economic resources or the resource around you. So your environment not only have social interaction, not only have health interaction, it also have resource interaction. Prices are sometimes up where the environmental status of a place is better than where the environmental status of a place is. So in the olden days, we normally define environment only about the the living and the non-living. No, scientifically, environment not only defined about the living component and the non-living component, it also talks about the social dimension. It also talks about the economic dimension. So what is environmental monitoring? Environmental monitoring is defined as the observation, is the process of observing and studying the environment to gather data and understand its condition. It is used to assess the impact of human activities on the environment and also take decisions about how to manage the environment. So we have the environment, but if we don't monitor the environment, we will not be able to see what is the impact or how human activity or how changes within the environment is going on. That is why environmental monitoring is very, very important. So also, it's a process, an activity that is done to characterize and describe the state of the environment. How do you see a place as you say the place is degraded? What are the parameters that makes you to see, oh, this environment is degraded, this environment is bad, oh, this environment is serene, this environment is good? Because there are some features, there are some characteristics you see in them that makes you choose. So that process is what we call environmental monitoring. So there must be some parameters for you will look out for before you can define that, oh, this environment is degraded, this environment is good, oh, this place is nice. You go to a place like Oshodi, and there are a lot of cars, there are a lot of noise, waste on the road, and you don't feel, psychologically, you don't feel appeal. And you go to Lekki Conservation, and the place is quiet. You are hearing natural sound and say, oh, this place is good. Oh, I love the here. Because there are some indicators you look out for that are not in Oshodi that are there. That's what makes it. So basically, that is what environmental monitoring is all about. So what is environmental compliance? Environmental compliance is the process of following environmental laws, regulation, and standard to protect the environment. So if we have something which is the environment, and we are saying it gets degraded and it is it's not in the natural form, something is being introduced into it, and those things that are being introduced into it are what we monitor. But how do we know that something is being introduced if there is no legal basis for it? And that's what environmental compliance is all about. While environmental enforcement refers to the action taken by government agencies to ensure compliance with environmental regulation, so which include monitoring activity, issue warning and citation, and also pursue legal action. So environmental enforcement, during monitoring, enforcement can come into place. During monitoring, issues of warning or citation can also come into place. That's all those processes are what we call environmental enforcement. So why do we need environmental monitoring, compliance, and enforcement? Why do we need it? Everybody keep on saying things cannot continue to go on the way it is. We cannot continue to have this thing the way it is. So every woman has the fundamental right of a quality environment, a good environment. It's a word accepted terms by the United Nations Conference on Human Environment. It says environmental life, environment itself is a basic human right. For us to have good environment is a basic human right. However, if the basic human right that you want to have is being impeded, is being affected, that is what we call environmental degradation. So when something is being degraded, what we do, we put a regulation in place, we put law in place. So that is why we need. So what do we need to make environmental monitoring, compliance and enforcement visible? That is where environmental law comes into place. So environmental law generally are terms that is used for both laws, regulation, agreement, and common laws. So laws are things that are passed by various national assembly of different countries. Those are law. However, regulations are not really law. They are subset of law, which sets to guide an aspect of life. Apart from that, there are also agreements. Agreements are treaties. Treaties, when organization, international body, or states comes together and say, okay, we don't want to have a law, we don't want to have a regulation, we want to have an agreement. You can't do this, you can't do this. And by law, even a simple verbal agreement between two parties is tenable in court. So also there are common laws, and I normally give this example. In the early 60s, 70s in Southwest Nigeria, when the coin money comes into place, when the coin money comes were being used, and vehicle was introduced into western parts of Nigeria, and a lot of people started having cars. Because domestic animals are very common and they roam around, it's wide then. There's a common law that says if you hit a duck, you have to look for a penny to put in the mouth of the duck. Because traditionally, everybody knows that cars are being introduced into the environment and the duck cannot move faster. If cars are coming, chickens can quickly fly up, but the ducks cannot move faster. So the general public, the chiefs, introduce it that if your car hits anybody's duck, you put penny into the mouth of the duck. It's just a common law and it is accepted during that period. But you can't use that law now. So sometimes some common laws are available in the southeastern part of Nigeria. You cannot kill some animals. You can't touch some animals in southeastern part of Nigeria. It's a common law that has been right from time immemorial, and they still use it now. So if you kill those kind of animals, everybody in the village, everybody will come towards you, and it will be. So laws can either be regulations, can either be law, can be agreement, or can be just what. So why do we need law? Why do we need law? We need law basically because of pollution. We need law basically because of pollution. The environment is getting polluted. The environment is getting degraded. So we need law to regulate this. We have a lot of conservation efforts. While we were growing up, we see a lot of birds around. We see a lot of lizard around. But now you can't see lizard. You can't see all those things. We need to conserve them. There's a reason why God asked human beings to live with plants and animals. A distort or we remove one of these in the ecosystem, there will be a cascade of effect. So we need law to protect wildlife. We also need law to help to prevent environmental damage. We also need law to help to prevent environmental damage. What about environmental? Oil spill is one thing that is very. Ogoni oil spill is one thing that is very common. Everybody in this part of the world know what oil pollution has done in the Niger Delta area. So, and you can see the fight between the Ogoni people and Shell Oil Company. Even when the company in Nigeria, they take the national body to their country, Netherlands, and the judgment was made. Environmental damages is not only, environmental law is not only about pollution, it's also helped to stop organizations and companies from damages. Some of the environmental law are also because of health and safety. You cannot release toxic materials into the environment. You cannot release things into the environment. Everybody, now the state government is clamoring about ban on single-use plastic. And everybody keep on saying, why is Lagos State government banning single-use plastic? Why are we banning single-use plastic? Yesterday, I read in the Harvard journal about microplastics in human brain. Microplastic in human brain, they were able to, adults, people who have Alzheimer's, the level of microplastic in their brain is greater than those people who did not have. That's a critical study like that shows why the ban of single-use plastic is very, very important. We are having microplastic in placentas. We're having microplastics in human lungs, and we cannot continue like this. And that is why laws and regulations comes into place. So when we have laws and regulation, what is the purpose of having laws? The purpose of having law is to ensure that this law are complied to. If you have a law and people don't comply to the law, it's no more law. The whole society becomes a jungle. And that's why compliance is very, very important. So, but how do you ensure compliance to law? How do you ensure compliance to law? What law do you even want to comply to? What law do you want to comply to? If we look at Nigeria as a country, environment, it's on the concurrent list in this part of in Nigeria, like in most other federation, in the US, in UK, in some part of Europe. Even despite being EU, some countries have their own legislation. Some county, some local government also have their own legislation. So in Nigeria also, there are federal law, there are state law, there are also local government law. Between you and I, most of us don't even know the law, the bylaw of some of the local governments we are residing. Why some people don't know some of the environmental law in the state? Some don't even know some of the federal laws. So there are federal laws, there are state laws, and there are local government laws. Most of us are familiar with federal law, we are familiar with state law. We are not familiar with local government law. I'll give one example that is not related to environment. When they ask us to pay radio license, the first thing Nigerians will say, why am I paying radio license? The government did not buy radio for me. Government did not buy this thing for me. As far as it's still a law that is permeable by law in Nigeria for you to pay local government radio license, we are bound to pay it. If you don't pay it, you have violated the law. If we don't want it, we agree and ask the National Assembly to remove it from what the local government should take. So apart from law, there are regulations. So states can make regulations, federal can make regulations, local government can also make regulations in terms of environment. It is permissible. Also, some court decisions are also permeable by now. People take each other to court, and the Supreme Court of the country come up with a legal pronouncement. It may not be in the law, it may not be in the regulation, but as far as the Supreme Court of that country has made adjudication on it, it is tenable. I'll give an example. There's a woman that sued, I think it's in Norway, that sued about climate justice. And an elderly woman sued the government that the elders are being affected by heat wave, that their government is not doing something more on climate change. And there was a pronouncement that forced the government to spend more money on climate change because heat waves is killing the elderly people there. So also international treaties. I often laugh when some government agency takes actions on some people, and people say, hey, but why are you taking that action with us? Hey, Nigeria is not, that law is not in our state. But Nigeria is a signatory to that law. Nigeria is a signatory to that law. Most of the conservation law, we are signatory to it. So if you kill any bushmeat, if you eat any bushmeat and they arrest you, don't say, the law is not in my state. but the national government has signed, we have ratified it. Also, some foreign regulation. If we obtain loans, from a national government, or we do something with a national government, some of their laws are tied to those loans. That's why you see that LGBT rights, some states, some countries are not taking loans from some country who are promoting LGBT rights, because some foreign regulations are also tied to this activity. In the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 20 makes it that the Nigerian state needs to improve and protect air, land, water, forest, and wildlife. It is a constitutional right that government should protect air, land, water, forest, and wildlife. And the government can use anything to do that. The governor of a state can come up with a pronouncement. As far as the governor is the chief security officer of that state, the Constitution gives him the right as far as the state governor. Also, Section 12 established that through the National Assembly can ratify international treaties, which Nigeria, it will be enforceable in Nigeria. As far as the National Assembly ratify it, even if we don't have a national law, as far as the National Assembly has given the power to ratify it, and it has been signed by the president. So, however, under this, it is also Section 33 and 34, which guarantee fundamental human right to life and human dignity. So, if we want fundamental human rights to life and human dignity, we will not be doing something that will be degrading the environment that makes us to live as human. So some of the national law, some of the federal law is the National Environmental Standard and Regulation Enforcement Law, that's NESTRA law, the EIA Act, that makes sure that you must conduct an EIA before you undertake some major projects. And in Lagos, one that is very crucial now is the EIA Act, that everybody, that if you have building, five-story building, or any building that is more than 8 units, you must do an EIA, not only follow the fiscal planning regulation. And I'll just talk a little about that. If you go towards CMD Road, from K2 and you are going to Shagisha, there's a popular school there. Early 90s, before the school set up, there's no serious traffic in that area. But immediately that school, they established the school there, the traffic in that area becomes what? Tense. If an environmental impact assessment has been conducted before the location of that school, the simple redesigning that school to have an underground parking basement where the parents will drive in under the basement and drop their kids, it will not cause tailback on the road. The tailback, that is why the parents are dropping the children. Most of the cars are becoming idling. And when they are idling, they are releasing emissions. These same children are taking up the emissions. The school is close to the bus stop, it's taking emission. You want the school there, but the environmental impact the school is having on the children. The noise also affect. I've not been to the school, but most of their windows will not be noise proof. So if an environmental impact assessment has been conducted, that will have reduced that. There's harmful waste, there's Endangered Species Act. Pangolin in Nigeria, pangolin is one of the most endangered animals. It's the highly most trafficked animal. Nigeria, they say they are using the scale to do Ogun this. I don't know who does Ogun. It is only God that protects people. So there is Oil Pipeline, Petroleum Act. So we have a lot of federal laws that we should be able to lay our hands on as environmental professionals or people working in the field of environment to be familiar with. Also, each state has its own environmental law. For Lagos State, we have, in 2017, we have all the laws scattered, Loma law, LASEPA law, policy, we have it scattered. But in 2017, everything was aggregated and formed one document, And that law is what we call Lagos State Environmental Management and Protection Law 2017. That is the law that we use in the state now. And each different part of the country has their own law. So I said, we monitor because we want people to comply to law. We monitor because we want people to comply to law. And if they don't comply to law, we enforce it. So if you're an environmentalist, if you're a professional working in the field of environment in Lagos, and you don't even know what the law, the Environmental Management and Protection Law of Lagos State is all about, you have not seen it, you don't know the section, how will you enforce that law? How will you advise your clients to even comply to the law? Most of the consultants, I'm bold to say, most of the consultants working in the field of environment in Lagos State don't even know all the sections of the Lagos State Environmental Management Law. So if you tell them that your client has violated this, they say, no, well, when is that? When is that? If you open it for them in the law of Lagos, they say, when is the Lagos State? You people just like introducing the law at the back. This law has been since 2017. And we have evidence that the House of Assembly called, that was a newspaper publication. Nigerians, when they call that there's a law in the Lagos State House of Assembly, come and make a pronouncement to a professional body, come, they will sit down, they will not do it. Most of us, we don't look at our local television, we watch CNN, and we will not go and advertise in CNN that we want to do something in Lagos State. So let's just review the Lagos State Environmental Management and Protection Law. So this law was passed into law in 2017, and we normally use EMPL 2017 law. For you to have, I will advise every professional to get a copy. We have law reform in Lagos State. You can buy one, or you go to the Gazette office and get a copy. If you're a professional working in the field of environment in Lagos State, whether you're a consultant, whether you're a regulator, and you want to make meaningful judgment about everything in environment in Lagos State, you see that you need to have the copy of the law. And while we are going through this, you see why it is important for us to have the law. It has 14 parts, and it has 526 sections, and it is a 239 pages. So let's look at the different parts. Some of the parts, we are not using them now. We are not using them now. Example, the Lagos State Environmental Trust Fund, we have not been able to use that. Administration of Environmental Matters in Lagos State. That is the section that gives power to Lagos State Ministry of Environment. That is the section that gives power to Lagos State Ministry of Environment. And it shows the power the ministry has, and it shows the power the Commissioner of Environment has. He said the objective of the law is for clean, safe environment. And the Commissioner of the Environment has the power to formulate policy, has the power to formulate guidelines, has the power to formulate issues. So if the law of the state gives the commissioner the right to formulate policy, so which means the commissioner, who is the head of the ministry, can come up with regulation. Oh, we want to ban single-use plastic in our state because it's causing problem for us. It's causing issues for us. Section 5, subsection I, the responsibility for formulation of policy, standards, and regulation of environmental in the state gives also. Consider all matters referred to in the state by the State Executive Council. Also, all these things are available in the law. Lagos State Waste Management Authority, Part 3. That's where all the powers that gives Lagos State Waste Management Authority the ability. You are going on the road, you dump refuse by the side of the road, they catch you, they can prosecute you summarily. The law gives them the power. Environmental sanitation, sanitary nuisance, litters also. Street trading. Street trading. You cannot do street trading in Lagos. There's a law. There's a law. We have a law. So it's not that government just go around, catch people. If you can't say because you are traveling out now. If you go to Indonesia, whether you are a new citizen or not, if they see you at the airport with single-use plastic or nylon, they will arrest you. Nobody will say you are a tourist. I have a transit visa. They expect you that before you come to their country, you will have laws and regulation. You can't eat bubble gum and split it on the road in that country, they will try you. So as it is done elsewhere, I don't think any Nigerians who go to London now, after leaving the Heathrow airport, will come to the side of the road and start urinating. You say you don't know that you cannot urinate in London. But you will see big men, big cars, flashy cars on Lekki Expressway. They will get out of their car and urinate openly. They will say Lagos State government did not provide public toilet. Why can't you go step out of Heathrow airport and urinate and say, okay, because you cannot locate where public toilet is in central London, or I can't pay money to use public toilet in Heathrow. That's why you are urinating. What they cannot do outside the country, because they know that the law are strictly enforced there, everybody will be ready to do it here in Nigeria. Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Water Corporation, Waste Management Office, Water Regulation, Office of Drainage Services. And this one is also very, very common. People are not aware that it is Ministry of Environment is not about environmental matters alone. There is Office of Drainage Services that has to do with the drainage master plan of the state, stormwater management and everything, and which gives them the power to manage primary and secondary drain. So if you want to manage primary and secondary drain, and people are built along the alignment of the drain, what will government do? So when government comes and demolish them, people will talk, we did not know when we are getting building approval. But there's a section of the law that gives them those power. So you can make the law available to yourself and go through it. So if we want people to comply to law, what should we do as professionals? What should we do? We should monitor the environment. Because if we don't monitor the environment, we will not know whether people are complying or people are not complying. That's where environmental monitoring comes into place. So environmental monitoring is defined as an activity undertaken to provide specific information on the characteristics and function of environmental and social variables in space and time. We are environmentalists, but we are also scientists. We are environmentalists, but we are also scientists. So we cannot remove science from environmental activities. So there must be some social variable in space and time. So if somebody is committing a nuisance, what is the effect of that nuisance? How does it affect the environment? There's scientific meaning to it. So environmental monitoring is continuous assessment. For you to know deviation from something, you need to study it for a little time. And that's where environmental monitoring comes into place. There are a lot of definitions. Environmental also support policy development and regulate environmental quality of life. If we don't monitor the environment, how do we know? A friend of mine, and they did a study. I was not part of the study, but I was able to read it. They had fishes in Lagos State, and they were looking at microplastic in fishes that were taken in Lagos State. You cannot believe what we are saying in it in Lagos. And these same fishes are what people are eating. There are some organophosphates, pesticide in foods we eat in Lagos State. These are things you do. So we must be able to take science and policy together. So environmental monitoring supports policy development. It regulates environmental quality standards and also the law. So environmental monitoring should take into account any impact on air, on water, on soil and land, and also biodiversity. So environmental monitoring sometimes talk about air quality, also talks about water quality, soil and land use, and also biodiversity. That will be for another lecture. Today, we are not talking about air quality. We are not talking about water, soil, or biodiversity. We are talking about the general environment, the quality of life, the serene that when you just stay out of your house, the next thing you get to the bus stop, the kind of scene you see, waste bag, people defecating openly, that is the kind of monitoring we are talking about today. And what is the purpose of those kind of environmental monitoring? Environmental standard is a basis of set of legislation. So we monitor because we want people to follow environmental standard. We want people to follow the law. Also, we do monitoring because we want to understand the state of the environment. What is the state of the environment? So we can warn the user and the producer. The user, people that are using it, the people that are causing that problem, we can warn them. It's a place where each and every one of us stays, and it is important for us to do. So what is the objective of environmental monitoring? Ensure compliance with the law and regulation. If you are monitoring the environment and you don't ensure that people comply to the law, you are not monitoring anything. We are monitoring and we are writing report. No, writing report is not the ultimate goal of environmental monitoring. How people will comply to the law is the ultimate objective of environmental monitoring. Evaluation of the short, medium, and long-term impact. I'm an officer, and my schedule is to monitor wastewater discharge from abattoir. I monitor abattoir. And one of the main things I monitor in the abattoir is that they continuously discharge wastewater into the environment. And I cannot find solution to what they are discharging. I have not monitored anything as a scientist, as an environmentalist. They are monitoring, they are discharging. What can I do? How can I reduce what they are discharging into the environment? So you must be able to have a short-term, medium-term, and long-term of it. Also provide government agency with data to evaluate any impact. Like I said, my friend, the NGO, they did study on microplastics of fishes obtained in rural area in Lagos. And we found out that there are microplastics in those fishes. We found out that there are microplastics in those fishes. In one of the videos I did on single-use plastic, along Eleko, there is a particular beach there that more than 3 trailers of plastic waste is there. Presently, still there. And it will take like 100 years for that thing to degrade. That means those plastic that we generated now, our children are still going to see them. So those are the vital things. Also, environmental monitoring provides early warning for potential environmental damage. If you don't monitor, we will not know things that will trigger, that will cause any problem. We have a lot of environmental crises that has happened. Love canal, HIV diseases. It's because people were monitoring. That is why they were able to see that there's high level of lead, though. There's high level of this thing that may cause problem to people. So environmental monitoring is so key. Go, adequate law, collect meaningful and relevant information. If you are doing monitoring and you are just submitting a report and you are not collecting every 3 months, you should be able to sit down and collect. Okay, we are seeing refuse along this highway. We are seeing refuse along this highway. And we see this refuse every kilometer, every 5 kilometers. Who are the people bringing this refuse? You must be able to bring out meaningful and relevant information from your monitoring so that a proper policy can be set in place. Also, you have to come up with things that you will be judgmental about it. Principle of monitoring. So you say we are monitoring. What do we monitor? And how do we monitor? You cannot monitor without having an indicator. You cannot monitor without having an indicator. Please, we are going out for monitoring. You just go out. And there's no indicator that I wish I am monitoring. I'm a consultant for a company, and government agency says the company I'm running consultancy for are polluting the environment. And I come and say, oh no, the company they are not polluting. You must give me empirical evidence to show that those companies are not polluting. Probably you have been monitoring their noise level, you have been monitoring their air discharge, you have been monitoring the wastewater. You come to the office and show me data. This is their noise level. This is the air quality. This is the equipment that we do. You don't have that, and you are coming and telling me that they are not polluting, when the government official has substantial evidence to show that, yes. So you must collect meaningful information and that are tangible for you to do. So what are the types of monitoring that we can have? We can have baseline data monitoring. Baseline data monitoring, that's what we do mostly in environmental impact assessment. Before a project commences, before you do anything, you want to know the baseline. What is the initial data? So when the project commences, so that you can be able to track if there's an impact on them. There can also be impact monitoring. There can also be impact monitoring. A project has commenced, yes, an EIA was not done or an initial baseline was not carried out, but we decided to start monitoring if there are impacts on it, tracking it systematically. Also, there is what we call compliance monitoring. Compliance monitoring is what is crucial to every organization. Whether you are when you are a regulator, you must do compliance monitoring. We were talking about the CBN directive of 100 naira. We are talking about CBN directive of 100 naira. Yes, they said if you collect money, you'll be charged 100 naira. Yes, some of us have been doing it. We go to POS. We go to POS to go and collect money, and they remove 200 naira for 5,000, and they want us to pay this thing. Yes, if the money are available. So will CBN officials go around to monitor banks who don't have money in their POS? That is also an example of compliance monitoring. So compliance monitoring is the process of ensuring that an organization follow regulatory requirement, internal policy, and industrial standard. That is what compliance monitoring is. And that is what we are going to discuss mostly today, compliance monitoring. So how do you monitor? How do you monitor? How do you ensure that an organization comply to the law, comply to the regulation? You can use technology. Everybody is using technology now. So how do we use technology to do environmental monitoring? Drone, satellite, street cameras, AI. So Lagos State government, we are introducing cameras for vehicles now in most of the streets. Can we liaise with Ministry of Transport where we can use this camera to also monitor environmental infractions? We can also we can do them. We can also use physical monitoring using checklists. So let's look at just an example using technology to monitor. Let's use satellite image. This is Google Earth. I want to let it load. Just sitting down in my office, I can monitor the progress. Let me go to Ikotun. Let me go to Ikotun roundabout in Egbe area. Yes, I'm going to. Yeah.
You have to stop sharing your slides and then share your screen again so that we can see the.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you see the screen now? Hello, can you see the screen now?
I can. I hope everyone else too.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's going up.
So now let's talk. This is Ikotun roundabout satellite image. And I want to monitor the progress of Ikotun roundabout, Ikotun street. I've not been to Ikotun in the past 6 months or 1 year. I don't think I've been in Ikotun. But sitting down at the comfort of my office, I can tell you what is happening in Ikotun roundabout. I can tell you the types of environmental infractions that are available there. So let me go to street view. So this is Ikotun roundabout. Any one of us who are familiar with Ikotun roundabout, you can see this is Ikotun. This is street trading. This is street trading. This is Ikotun. So if I look at this satellite image and I look at the day the satellite took this picture, 3 months after, I can go there again and see. 6 months after, I can go there again and see, and compile my report and see that every 3 months, see the roundabout is this. There is a shopping complex, Apostolic Church. In front of that Apostolic Church, beside the last mile officials, there is a woman who normally sells there. There is somebody who puts fine yogo there. You can see that these are streets. This is Ikotun. They have turned it to And the law says you cannot sell on the canal. You cannot sell on the gutter. See, they are selling on the gutter. And there are shops there. So I don't have to go to a cartoon to know that these things is happening. This is the use of technology in what? In monitoring. This is the use of technology in what? In monitoring. That's the use of technology. You can also use drone. We can also use drone. Instead of an officer, you expect an officer to monitor Mobolaji Bakantoni Way from Secretariat Junction to 7-Up, and you want to drive all around. I can't be driving all around and be waiting. I can fly a drone. Take the video, download the video. After downloading the video, now use AI to determine the kind of infractions I'm seeing. It will save me from using fuel. Instead of driving at this, I can stay at one position, fly the drone. You can fly a drone 2 kilometers. You can fly a drone 1 kilometer. So this is the use of technology. Also, you can use checklists by doing physical monitoring. And let me show us an example. Is the screen, can you see my screen, sir? People, can you see the screen now? Okay, so this is monitoring state of the environment. This is physical monitoring, where you go from one location to the other. This is polluted.
I'm sorry to interject again. We can't see what you're showing us.
You can't see it. Okay, sorry. So I'll have to pull it up. Can you see now?
It's coming up. Yes, we can now. Thank you, sir.
So this is physical monitoring. So physical monitoring, you have to go there, take the picture, marine waste. This is illegal mechanic workshop. This is street trading. So even when you are taking pictures, your pictures must have relevance. If you see this picture, you can see there are landmarks there that will enable you to know where these pictures are. Not that you want to take a street trader, you move close to the street trader and you take the picture of the street trader. We don't know where this trading activity is. You see this picture, I'm scrolling on. You can see the big building there. It's one of the major landmark building in Lagos. So you know where that location is. Overgrown weeds, road that's vegetal nuisance, improper waste management. So these are what we call generator oil from generator into the drain. Somebody burning refuse. This is a bank that has traders in front of them. These are mechanics on the side of the road. This is somebody washing car on the road. So all these are examples of physical measurements, physical monitoring without the use of technology. So when you are monitoring and you find yourself monitoring a facility, as a monitoring officer, the first thing you do when you enter the facility is to establish the legality of you being there. The legality of you being there. I'm a government official. I'm from this agency. You show them your ID card. You make an official presentation. Your appearance, the way you speak, the way you introduce yourself, even gives you more command, and the people want to listen to you. And you go around monitoring. When you enter a facility or you enter a place and they ask you to fill the visitors form, please do fill the visitors form. Don't say, I'm a government official, I don't need to fill it. If there's an emergency there and while you are using the restroom, they won't count you. If anything happened to you, you did not fill the visitors form, so you are -1. So those that I decided to. So when we monitor, before we leave our premises, there must be checklist. There must be checklist. I want to go and monitor K2 market. I want to go and monitor K2 market. There must be something I want to look out for in those K2 markets that are called checklists. Let me take you. Let me give you one example of a checklist of a country that is similar to Nigeria. This is inspection checklist for fruit and vegetable market. This is inspection checklist for fruits and vegetable market. And this is not a market in Nigeria. This is a market in a country that is similar in characteristics and everything to Nigeria. What they do to their checklist is that they have points. Points are attached to their checklist. Not that I went to monitor market, and because they have refuse and they did not pack their refuse, we seal up the market. You seal up a market because of refuse. There's no justification. But here, in their own checklist, they have compliance, non-compliance, partial compliance, not applicable. So every of the matrix they are using to monitor the fruit market, if they comply, they give them 2 marks. Non-compliance, they give them 0. Partial compliance, they give them 1. Number 1, they said license. Does the market has a license? Do they have a full safety team in the market? Market is located away from environmental pollution and industrial area. That's a point. The vending surface or display area for the shop, stall, and kiosk, are they above the ground, not putting fruit on the floor? Sufficient free space to allow easy movement of person in materials in the market, not in any market in Lagos. So when there is Ebola, when there is any communicable disease, it will be easily spread because the market are choked. Premises is clean, adequate lighting, and we don't have them. Floor are well maintained and easy to clean. You can see water supply. Do they have water supply? Quality of water is analyzed every 6 months by a third party. Quality of water is analyzed by every 6 months. It is government official, government agency that will say they want to monitor the water. You cannot be the regulator and be the judge. You cannot be the regulator and be the judge. So this is a checklist for a market in a similar country like Nigeria. They have a proper checklist. So when they want to seal the market or they want to enforce the market, they put it on the matrix scale. This is 60 out of 60 points. Your market fall less than this. So if you follow that, they'll seal them. You understand? This is a similar things we should start imbibing about. We should continue with. Let's have a proper checklist that we think we can monitor our. That is for, I have also rural abattoir checklist. I have industrial checklist. Let me talk about the industrial checklist and see. I'm coming. I know I have to stop share and. So this is a checklist also for, this is National Environmental Compliance Evaluation Checklist for industry. They have a checklist for industry, and they have scales also. They have scales by which they monitor. It's a country in Africa like us. It's a country in Africa like us. The first thing is the industry committed to any industrial or environmental law of the country? Yes, no, not applicable. Thus, is the industry hold the required environmental related document such as permit, license, official contract certification? Yes or no? Are the following license, permit, approval available to demonstrate full legal compliance, environmental fees for wastewater discharge? Do they register? Do they have a licensed waste collector? Do they have air emission permit? Do they have wastewater discharge? Do they have permit for this? This is a checklist for monitoring an industry. In a developing country like us, this one is in Africa. The other one is in Asia. Do the industry have a process to periodically review its environmental performance? They have a checklist. As the industry identify point and fugitive source of emission in the air, do they have a stack? Do they have a vent? Is there a process that generates noise pollution identified by the industry? Yes, if they have it, does the industry have a control device or abatement process for the noise? So they'll be ticking it. Yes, no. When the number of no's is too much, if they are sealing the industry have seen it themselves that, yes, we did not comply. Not that, the government officials, they are just sealing us. They are just sealing us because of this. They have a checklist. And if you fail with the checklist, there's no way when they seal you up that you can defend yourself, even in court. Let's take another checklist. This checklist has to do with facility. This one has to do with homes. This one has to do with homes. Homes or offices. This one has to do with homes or offices. So for people who are in Ministry of Environment, or you are in your office, let's look at this one now. Let's say Ministry of Environment Office Facility Maintenance Inspection Checklist. Are there cobwebs in the office? Are the fan clean? Is the AC filter clean? Let's look at the toilet. Are there any water spill on the wall, on the floor, on the ceiling? Are there molds? These are checklists for facility. If we check ourselves, Ministry of Environment, can we pass? If you check your office, are there cracks in the wall? Environmental protection, public health law says that you cannot have cracks in offices, in the wall, even in your homes, because that is where insects grow. Do you have any sign of corrosion? Is there any sign of termites? Windows, are the windows clean? Are there molds? Are there mildew? Some people are allergic to this. Somebody have to monitor it. Who is monitoring? Who is checking? We just find out one of our colleagues is becoming sick all the time. We don't know whether it is mold in the office or it's the mildew in the office that is affecting that colleague until any serious things happen. You look at the drainage. Look at the drainage within the premises. Look at the drainage within Alausa. Are they free-flowing? Are they clogged? There are sometimes I go around and I see that there is no synergy between government agency. Putting cables inside drain in Nigeria. We put cables inside drain, and an agency will approve that an organization put cable inside drain. So these are checklists. These are just similar checklists. So checklist helps you to see whether the person is complying or the person is not really complying. So now that we know that we have to get a checklist for our monitoring, let's go back to our environmental law and see how we are going to develop some of these checklists and see how, when we monitor and use the checklist, and know how we can give citation or abatement notice to people who violate. Section 111 of the Environmental Protection and Management Law, duty of the owner, duty of the tenant or the occupier, if the landlord or the owner of the building is not there. They say, keep clean sidewalk and gutters 45 centimeters from sidewalk into the street, along the building frontage side back at all time. It must be clean at all time. Not that we slept the place in the morning. No, that's not what the law says. The law says at all time. At all time. Keep refuse dustbin or litter bin where appropriate within the premises. Within the premises until the time of the collection. Most people, if you do survey, people put their waste bin outside in Lagos. It is outside. When you are building your house, why did you build why did you occupy all the square meter of your building? Your waste bin should be inside your compound. Your waste bin should not be outside. Ensure that the refuse bin or litter bin are covered all the time. Rats. The number of rats in Lagos is even more than the population of human beings. Because most of our waste are outside. And that helps in rats infestation and breeding. So this is the extract section of the law. So as a monitoring officer, you go around and you see all this. And it's in your checklist that if the owner of the house does not have this, if the owner of the district, what is in the law is what you will use to do your monitoring checklist. So when you get to the house and the house does not have this, that is what you write in your abatement notice. This is the citation you give to the person. Because it is what you write in the abatement notice and the picture you document. When the thing gets to the legal part, that is what you present as your evidence. Cleanliness of the premises. An occupier, another occupier of a building shall ensure that the cleanliness of his premises, particularly the backyard, courtyard, front yard, and the surrounding gutters and drain. People will be waiting for government to come and help them to clean the gutters. When the law gives you the right, the owner, to do that. Every commercial vehicle in the state shall carry litter bin for the use of the passenger. A passenger shall not throw any litter, fruit skin, scrap paper, or any other item onto the road from the vehicle. Who is monitoring? Who is arresting? Littering is a serious offense in the UK. Littering is a serious offense in Indonesia. Littering is a serious offense in New York. Environmental offenses in Brooklyn. The amount of money generates from environmental offenses alone, it's even more than some commercial tax in some places, in some country. And we just allow people to do anything in this part of the world. Removal of silt. A person shall not leave silt, earth, or other materials evacuated during construction or maintenance of the drain on the roadside beyond 48 hours. Even we as government, some government agency, we will remove silt and you put it there 3 months, 1 month, 2 months. When the law that we created ourselves says it cannot be more than 48 hours. And you tell some of the sister agency that this is, you can't do. No, we don't have. No. The law says you cannot do it beyond 48 hours. So if we want to allow, if we want to use that law to catch the citizen, we that come up with the law, we should be able to be the first person that would obey the law. Abuse of setback. Apart from the drainage section, notwithstanding any permits given under any public infrastructure law. Yes, so I have stacking permit. I have setback permit. They gave me permit to extend my setback. The environmental management law says, notwithstanding any permit given under any public infrastructural law, a person shall not construct or put any structure on drainage alignment, sewer, rail track, footpath, or require. There's somebody, you know, when you go to Twitter, a lot of people, there's somebody that puts comment on Twitter that why is Ministry of Environment arresting people on rail track? It's not Ministry of Environment job. It's there. Section 118. You cannot put anything on rail track. It's part of the function of Ministry of Environment. Abandoned vehicle, you put your vehicle on the highway. The Ministry of Environment, you can tow it. Because when you put vehicle there, people start dumping refuse there. It starts rats and it helps rat infestation. It helps breeding of rats. And it causes environmental nuisance to us. You can't cook or sell any food on roadside. It's an offense. Not on setback. It's an offense. It's liable. A person shall not allow car cattle, goats, sheep to roam on the street is an offense. It's there. Some people will carry waste and they will put their vehicle to carry the waste. If you don't have a license to carry waste, you cannot. It's an offense. No person or operator may collect or transport any form of waste. It's also an offense. It's there. There's one that I feel. Let me read this. A person may not carry on any activity which may cause the generation of special industry, hazardous or healthcare waste without notifying the authority in writing prior to the commencement of such activity. Which means if you set up an hospital, and your hospital commissioning date will be May. You cannot do it. You have to write LOMA or write Ministry of Environment, notifying us that you will be generating an hazardous waste. That is what the law says. You are an industry, you are producing an hazardous waste. So you just start generating. After generating, we serve you and now say, I did not know that I'm supposed to come and meet the government agency. When the law says before 1 month, you have to write. Because it is when you write, apart from writing also, you must do waste characterization. The authority may require that notification referred to in the subsection, an analysis of the composition of the proposed waste certified by a qualified chemist or a waste expert. There are a lot of cancer treating center now in Lagos. And we know what there are some of the material they use to treat cancer patients, they are hazardous. Now they dump them. They put them in the common waste. How many cancer treatment centers do we have in Lagos now? Who is treating the waste? Most of the cancer treatment derivatives are hazardous. They are radionuclide. And we don't have a sanitary landfill where these things can be treated. That is why the law says a person, you have to notify the authority so that they can know the characteristics of the waste. Not only notifying, you have to give us the composition analysis of the proposed waste you want to generate, signed by a qualified chemist or a waste expert. We will not ask people to come and carry the waste in your organization when the waste is hazardous. So when if government officials seal any premises on this, they say, now why are they doing that? It is in the law. Unfortunately, most of us don't even know that it's in the law. The government offices or agencies who are even in charge of the waste, I don't think most of them know this. Abatement notice. So when somebody commits all this offense, what do? You issue an abatement notice. So when you issue the abatement notice, you write it and you refer to a relevant section of the law. Because if you don't refer to a relevant section of the law, if it leads to court case, you may not be able to adjudicate very well. Or the people may not be able to adjudicate very well. You must also document evidence when issuing the notice. Take pictures. Do the video recording. If you want to record video and the person's face have to show, you notify the person, I am recording. If he wants to stop you recording, let him stop you. That's also an evidence. Obstructing the government official is also an evidence. What the law says is that you notify the person that I want to record. If somebody is committing nuisance, you are urinating by the side of the road, I will record you. Because you are committing an offense. And that is the evidence for me to present in court that while you are doing the act, I catch you while you are doing the act. That is an evidence. So when we have the law and somebody did not comply, and we are to ensure that they comply. So environmental compliance is the process of adhering to the law, regulation, standard, and guideline. So as government official, as consultant, we should help our proponent of us, we should help citizens to comply to the law. Government officials should help citizens to comply to the law, not to dribble them not to comply to the law so that we can catch them. That's not what the law says. We should help them to be compliant. To comply to the law, reduce government funding. To prosecute, to do this cost money. So the role of every regulator is to ensure that you help citizens to comply to the law. And the compliance, environmental compliance framework have bound the risk assessment, the policy and the procedure, the monitoring and the corrective actions. Somebody did not sweep, because the law says if somebody did not sweep his frontage, you fine him 5,000, 10,000. But you can just tell the person, please sweep, I will come back in the next 2 hours, or I'll come back tomorrow to come and check. You don't have to issue a notice. We should ensure that we encourage citizens to what? To comply. But if they fail to comply, what do? You use the hammer of the law, you enforce. Every regulator is a compliance officer, is also an enforcement officer. Every regulator is a compliance officer and is also a what? An enforcement officer. Enforcement is the backbone of any compliance program. Enforcement is the backbone of every this thing. So, but environmental enforcement is funny. Environmental enforcement is funny. And there are three different aspects of environmental enforcement. There's administrative, there is judicial, and there is criminal. So the judicial and the criminal one are legal. Administrative is that, okay, you commit an offense, okay, go and pay a fine. Go and pay a fine. Corrective action, do this, do this. That's where we oppose sanction. We lock your premises, you do this. Also, there are also legal one. The legal aspect can be judicial. Some legal aspect may not also be judicial at all. Environmental aspect can be civil, and it can also be criminal. Environmental cases can be civil, where the violator will just go through civil actions. It can also be criminal. If you intend, you knowingly commit an environmental offense, it can be you can be liable through the criminal actions in court. Through criminal actions. You know that your company is discharging hazardous waste, you park hazardous waste, you get to the Third Mainland Bridge by 1 a.m. because nobody is there, you pump your hazardous waste into the Lagos Lagoon and they catch you there. It's a criminal offense. That one is not civil case. You will be charged for criminal offense. Intentionally, you know. So, for a regulator, there is what you call burden of proof. So, for most environmental cases, burden of proof is something that we use. So, to be found civilly liable for violating environmental law, the standard of proof is based upon the preponderance of the evidence, which means I have to show that you have committed the offense. That is what is needed. It is not for me to prove beyond every reasonable doubt. No. Criminal, some cases they say, prove beyond every reasonable doubt. No. It is just the burden of proof to show that, yes. There's a guy that normally go around with his camera to monitor people that carry refuse from their houses. He will stay at one bus stop. You will see people carrying refuse. So when he will record them, and when immediately they drop the refuse, after dropping the refuse, they will go and call them back and say, come and carry the refuse. When they are arguing, he will show them. That is what you call burden of proof. You don't need anything again. If they catch that person and take it to tax for, he has committed an offense. You don't need a judge to do this. Summary. And that's what also gives Ministry of Environment the power for summary prosecution. You can be arrested and you can be tried instantly. You can be sanctioned instantly. You don't have to say, okay, they say they did not allow them to face judge. No. But also during the enforcement process, protecting basic rights of citizens is very, very important. Not that you arrest somebody that is dumping refuse by the side of the road. The next thing the CAI officials or the government official will do is, no, you are violating the basic right of that person. You are violating the basic right of that person. There are some offenses that you need to give notice, adequate notice, warning very well. There are some offenses that, okay, appeal will come into place or you resolve it issue. When you want to prosecute serious environmental crime, you need to support your enforcement with tangible evidence. we need to support with tangible evidence. So that is why monitoring and recording is very, very important. Pictures, documenting the evidence is very, very important, because you don't know when something will happen. Every nation has its own unique legal system. Yes, some notice, some you violate instantly, and some they are just corrective action. Sealing and arrest. Yes, you can seal a property, you can arrest because of environmental offenses. I've seen lawyers, I've seen people who come to Ministry of Environment. You don't have the right to seal their house. You don't have the right to do this. You have the right. If you against it, go to the National Assembly, go and challenge the court. You don't challenge the officer that is doing things that is based on on his power. So typical enforcement action: prove that a violation has occurred. Establish that the procedure and policy are fair and equitable. If you know that what you have done as a government official is fair, let anybody talk, let everybody shout. Demonstrate that the underlying environmental or public health need for the requirement is being violated. You cannot do something, you are doing something to protect the general public, not the person that pollutes or the person that commit the offense. Also, you must demonstrate that a remedy for the violation is available, and also justify the proposed penalty. You must be able to justify the proposed penalty. Arrest in environmental offenses. Yes, you can arrest with a warrant, and you can also arrest without a warrant. A peace officer or an individual deputized by a proper government agency may, with a warrant or without a warrant, arrest a person. Without a warrant, you can arrest a person. Also, with a warrant issued by court, you can arrest a person as an environmental officer, enforcing the law. As far as there's what you call burden of proof. You see somebody that is urinating, you are about 3 government official, high officer, you are there, and somebody is urinating, and you catch the person. And the person said, go and bring warrants for why? Which warrant will you need? When you have committed offense and evidence is there that you have committed an offense, you want me to go to court to go and bring a warrant? You are discharging sewage directly into this thing. You want me to go to court to go and bring a warrant when you have cleaned this thing before coming back? So arrest without warrants, when lawfully a peace officer or an individual deputized by government agency may, without a warrant, arrest a person. So when the offense has just been committed and he has probable case to believe based on the personal knowledge of fact or circumstance that the person to be arrested has committed it, you can do that. You deputize. The court may act under this section on a complaint made by any person. Yes, I'm giving you wants to come and collect the goods. This during sanitation. It was wants to come and collect the goods. This during sanitation. It was Alesh. Alesh was the chairman of the local government, and Mr. I think Arobadade, vice chair, he was in charge of environment. He called the head of the environmental, Mr. Nikoi, and he called us. He said, I see this. I said, I remember. I said, that time, and remember. I said, that time, and that's what I did what to call, I did what to call chain of custody. All the people, chain of custody, all the people that were arrested that time, I will record them, because Ministry of Environment were the one, despite it in the local government, I will record it in the local government. I will record all the people arrested, their name, their address, record all the people arrested, their name, their address, all the items seized from them, I will document it. We have a store inside the local, I will document it. We have a store inside the local government that we kept everything. The man said, I said, no, we did not. I said, the thing is inside stock. The chairman, Alesh, was even, let's go and make bargain with them. The man said, no, he wants his good. It is that his trade that he wants. It took us like 6 hours before we could remove everything from the store to get the man. They were the younger brother, people from Bonicam, army from Bonicam. They are in front of the local government. They've locked the local government. The chairman has sent message to Alausa task forces on their way. Has sent message to Alausa task forces on their way. About the trade. He said that this is my trade. Lo and behold, when the top of the trade, we saw dollars. We saw dollars under. And I said, yeah. The position of seized item shall be in accordance with applicable law. Don't arrest somebody and you seize the item and you go and throw the item away. Oh. Don't arrest somebody and throw the item away. Take the item, take the picture, document it, let him sign. When he commit the offense and everything, when he comes back, let him come and take it. It is not the item that commit offense. If it is the item that commit offense, ensure that the court make a pronouncement and they say there's a sale of it. So that I just want to share that experience for some of us that mean. So what is the future of environmental monitoring? Innovation drives monitoring advancement. We cannot be monitoring using what we have been monitoring before. I talked to a friend of mine who works with a federal agency. I will mention the federal agency, Consumer Rights Protection Agency. We have similar in Lagos State, Consumer Rights Protection Agency, and he's a scientific officer. And he said, they posted me to this agency. What am I going to do? I said, what are you not going to do there? You can start buying, you can make recommendation, you buy equipment. We hear now that people use pesticide to keep beans in the market. Buy equipment that can test pesticide. You go to any market, you test the beans. If there are residue of pesticide, seize them. Consumer protection. You are protecting the consumer by not allowing them to hit this thing. Nobody after he said, no, I didn't think about that. I said, yes, you're a scientific officer in an agency that protects citizen rights. You can do it. People are using carbide. People are using carbide to ripen fruits, to ripen vegetables, fruits. You can monitor the carbide residue. So when you go to the market, you see carbide residue in those fruits, you seize them. You seize them. That's the as a scientific officer using innovation and advancement to help your work. Technology enhanced data collection. There are parts that you can use to do checklist, monitoring, reporting, not paper always. Remote sensing offer better insights. There are a lot of remote sensing devices that can help us to enhance our monitoring. Automation improve efficiency. Everything is not paper. We should be digitalizing our work. So, what are my recommendations? Enhance capacity building in various agencies. We need to educate most officers, most consultants need to educate their staffs about this law, federal law, state laws. Do a whole day capacity building on environmental legislation in the state, in the country. We need to educate the citizen, probably do pamphlets, do short social media integration about, do you know this law? Do you know this law? Let's start singing it in the eyes, in the ear of the people. We have a lot of Gen Z now who can do social media interaction, break the law down into pieces and make it known to everybody. If you look at the environmental sanitation law, the law there, the sanction there. I'll give another example that I faced during the week. I wanted to obtain permit from an uncle from Last Park to cut a tree in his house. The approval to cut a tree is 250,000. The fine for me cutting a tree in the law is 50,000 or 25,000. I would rather commit the offense than go and pay the 250,000. For some people, they would rather commit the offense. They will cut the tree down. You sanction them. You say they take me to court. When the law, the violation is 50,000, 100,000, and the permit for me to obtain it is 250. How can the permit more than the sanctioning of the law? It's either we change the sanction in the law or we reduce the permit. So I will share this slide. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think I can stop here now. I think I've been able to do justice to the topic. Thank you very much. It's over to you, moderator.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lasisi. I think it has been a very wholesome conversation. Please go ahead and use the chat section. You can use the emoji for your reaction. I want to say a huge thank you to you. There are a few questions in the chat box menu. Okay, there's a question requesting that you address the issue of interference in the issues of monitoring and compliance. She also believes that there is a need for political will whereby defaulters are treated equally when environmental infractions are established. A second request also is that you should please kindly speak to the safety and security of officers in the course of discharging their duties. I just want to use this opportunity. If you have more questions, please kindly put them in the chat box menu, and I'll do well to bring them on board. Thank you so much. So I'll let you take the questions and then I'll ask more questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start with the first one. The safety and security of officer in the course of their duty. Maybe I'll say this maybe because I've faced similar situation. I've faced similar situation. Some of my colleagues who are here can remember when we wanted to reorganize the PSP program. That time, Lagos State government wanted to take a loan from World Bank for medical waste management. And we are asked to take data of hospital facilities in our area. That time, we have officers who are in different local government, 2 officers each in each of the local government area. And I was in charge of Etiosa local government then. And I went to this facility, this hospital facility. I've been there in the morning, and that is the last medical facility. We are supposed to submit the report. We normally come to Alausa every Wednesday or Thursday to submit the report. And they said the medical director is not there. The medical director is not there. When is the medical? They said the medical director will come by 5 or 6. And because that is the last hospital I'll be, so I decided to just be a diligent officer. I wanted to get the data. And I went there after 5. On getting there after 5, the medical director called Langbasa police station. The medical director called Langbasa police station. The police station, the DPO, just called me immediately. I was arrested. Picked up. The man left, and they put me there. When they were about to put me inside the cell, one of the police officers asked me to remove all my, they were removing all the items. And when removing the items, the police officer saw complimentary card of Alesh, saw complimentary card of Baba Lucy, saw the complimentary card of Alaji Okunu. And the police officer went to meet the DPO. Okay, all the things I'm seeing from this man, I don't think the man is lying. No, I think he's government official. He said, no, there's a complaint about him. There's nothing I can do. Put him there. The policeman did not put me inside the cell. They said, okay, you sit with us. They arrested some truck drivers then. It was one of the truck drivers that saw me that went to meet my hands and informed my hand that, my hands came there. The DPO said, it's a complaint. There's nothing you can do. My hands called Alesh, called everybody. They decided. The second day, late Ogujimi, God bless his soul, one of our former directors who died. I will never forget. The following day, he came with task force in Alausa. They picked me. The task force chairman said they should pick all the police officers. They pick all the police officers. Alesh, the former chairman, all of them, they move. You know the funny thing? The medical director, the owner of the hospital, is a director in Lagos State. He works with Ministry of Health. He works with Ministry of Health. And it was even one of the hospitals, my church, we were using. He now started talking, begging, doing of this thing. Since then, I decided to put one thing together. Immediately from that, I went to nearly all the police stations within my jurisdiction and make interaction with all the police officers. I make directives without even nobody telling me in Alausa. I went to all the police stations, Langbasa, Ilasan police station, Maroko. I went to Bonny Camp. I started having interaction. I went to, because there are some buildings in VI that are military attaché office. You serve them notice, you don't know. They will carry you. So I started having personal interaction with all the police, all the military officers. So even sometimes when I want to have issues, they already know me. I've had interaction with their heads. So that is one thing I want our colleagues to also, yes, we know safety and security. So you want to go and monitor Banana Island. Banana Island has a security team, have an interaction with them. You want to have an issue in Naija. That time in Naija, even despite Naija being tense, Late Olumegbon will tell me, Lawal is there. No, the late is his late brother. Lasisi, come, my boys will follow you. Serve anybody. I had police backup and I have local backup. So I think that is also important for us to do. Why we will tell our principal to always encourage you. You can use your own initiative also to do that. Interference in monitoring. Interference, to address the issue of interference monitoring, I believe we need political, yes. Everybody always talk about political. There's nothing political. We are also political. Every human being is a political animal. Everybody is a political animal. If you arrest somebody and the political head says you release the person, you will release. Because you are not the one working. Every action leads to the commissioner. Every action leads to the governor. It's the chief security officer of the state. So if he says leave this person, it is you have done your own duty. There's nothing you can do. But sometimes when we document actions properly, our political head often relax when we document actions properly. So those are things. When you document it and he says, he will even call them, what my people have against you is big. I think we have to look for style to do this. I think that's another thing we should do.
Thank you,
I think I'm
sir.
okay with that one.
Yeah, there are more questions in the chat box. I'll just quickly read this one. He says, on behalf of okay, he's thanking you. And then his question is in two ways. Can I, as an environmentalist, walk up or send an email or speak with someone about a canal overflowing to an extent that there's flood in the area? And the second question is, can I also monitor and advise the department on what to do as a scientist and an environmentalist? Perhaps I can quickly add this question. There is a question asking about okay, you can go ahead and answer that while I find the rest of the questions.
If you have an issue, the Ministry of Environment, we have an email, we have MOE, there's a Twitter handle. The commissioner has his own Twitter handle. You can we use social media in Lagos State. There's a Citizen Gate. There's an app. There's an app, Citizen Gate, in Lagos State that you can use to do environment. You can use to do reporting. You report, and I guarantee you, in 28 or 48 hours, that issues will be attended to. Also, if you have solutions to any of the problems that we have in the state, come up with the solution. I know that Lagos State is one of the best states that gives citizens the right to participate in actions. So if you have any issue, you send it to me. You can send it to me. My email is ladedoyin@yahoo.com or alasisi@lagostate.gov.ng. You can send it to this platform. We will help you to cascade it to which agency is responsible. I have a question. Are there internship or job opportunity for environmental biologists? Yeah, you can connect me if there are internship available that we can help you with. We have some of our agency, wastewater is there, LASEPA is there. As an environmental biologist, you should be able to do something with LASEPA and also with wastewater.
Okay, I just want to ask, in your experience as an environmental manager, do you think that the law is all encompassing? Are there blind spots, considering the fact that the environment sector is saddled with emerging challenges? Do you think that particularly Lagos State Environmental Protection Law is all encompassing and there are no gray areas? Yeah, just want to hear your thoughts on that. Thank you.
No law is perfect. Nothing done by any human being is perfect. It is only God that has perfection. So you expect that, okay, because a law is not perfect, we should not work with it or we should not do it. No. Even the so-called American society that everybody look up to, it's not perfect. We are hearing different story about them now. We are hearing different story. American that everybody look out for. They are the ones sponsoring Boko Haram in Nigeria. Stylishly or not stylishly. And if you talk, before you make any reference in Nigeria, America. Before our government is not good, though, it's American government that is good. You can see the same American government. People are condemning them now. So no law is perfect. We know that the environmental law, not everything is perfect there. But that does not mean we cannot use it. We'll continue to use it until we call for review. Basically, this law is 2017. So we should start sitting down to review the law by 2027. We should start to sit down and review the law. And those who are working with the law, government officials who are working with the law, citizens who the law affects, you come up with comments, then we'll compile it together, amend the law, and send it to the State Office of Assembly through the ministry or through the executive governor, and then they amend it. That is how society works. That is how society works. We cannot say because something is not perfect, we will not use it. No, we just need to start. We just need to start doing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, somebody said, can you give clarity on towing infractions vehicle? Will this not overlap with MOT functions? No, it does not overlap with MOT functions. We did not go to the road to go and stop any vehicle. If a vehicle constitutes, you work with Loma, my sister, and you know there are a lot of vehicles on the road that people have poured refuse on it, dump refuse on it. And Ministry of Transport is seeing it. Why can't they help you to carry it? So if people see vehicle, abandoned vehicle, and they pour refuse on it, will they call Ministry of Transport? It is Loma they will be accusing. So if Loma towed that vehicle and towed it to dump site, and the person want to come and pay for it. We are not clashing with MOT. No government, I keep on saying it, no government of agency is clashing with each other. If Ministry of Environment see LASEPA function and help LASEPA to do the function, all of us are working for Mr. Governor. If there is a road that is not good, Ministry of Environment take the picture, send it to Ministry of Works. You are not reporting Ministry of Works. You are helping them to improve their works. So it is people who are saying that, you are reporting me. No, we are not reporting each other. We are all serving the citizen. And in order to make the citizen better, we need to start collaborating with each other. I remember when, during Asiwaju's era, we used to compile infractions. We used to compile infractions and send it to different ministries. We used to compile infractions and send it to different ministries. During Asiwaju era, we will compile infraction that has to do with Ministry of Works, compile infraction that has to do with justice, and that's Ministry of Environment. Everything, every function is based on environment. Physical planning, if you see a building that is cracking, that is everything, there's nothing but the Ministry of Environment compiling it and sending it to physical planning. And if physical planning if they will compile it for them and they did not do it, if we take action, we are not doing their function. We are just trying to make everything better. We are just trying to make everything better for us as citizens. So yes, like you said, we know that we are reviewing the law now. We are reviewing the law. We wanted to add new things to it. Okay, somebody, let me reply. Somebody said he wants my email. So I think I've been able to answer all the necessary questions, unless if there's anybody that wants to speak, you can make the floor open for people to speak. Thank you.
Absolutely. So if anyone is most comfortable to speak, please go ahead and open your microphone and ask a question. Thank you. While we wait for anyone who wants to speak, can I ask that you kindly clarify between a law, policy, and a regulation in terms of formulation? I think that is that's a subject area that a lot of people are usually confused about. If you just clarify the audience, thank you.
Okay. First, a policy is a policy sometimes come up from an official document by government, an official statement or document that comes from government. So there's an issue, and there's been a dialogue, there's been research, there's been study, and government come up with a policy direction on it. It doesn't have to have a legal backing. It doesn't have to have a legal backing. That is a policy. There's a policy statement, there's a policy direction. We will be in this year, we'll be doing this way. That is, it's normally a policy sometimes come through an executive order that the state governor make this pronouncement, or the state on its own come up with this policy. So that's a policy. Why a law? Why a law is an enactment from the House of Assembly, of the National House of Assembly, or the Senate of that country. So that means it has to pass through the legislation. It has to pass through the legislation. That is a law. A law for you to stop importation of this. A law to do this. So somebody will come up with the law, submit it to the assembly. It will be debated. They will ask professionals to come. Everybody come. They discuss about it. If it passes through the assembly 2/3, it becomes a law, and the governor of the state will sign it. Sometimes there are things there are bills that are set up. The National Assembly will pass it, and the governor of that state will not assent to it, or the president of the state will not assent to it. It will stop it. Some country, if the president did not assent to the bill, after some times, it becomes the National Assembly of that country or the Senate of that country supersede the president. It will become effective. But there are still, sometimes you get to the Supreme Court of that country. Like let's give an example of what had just happened in the United States now. When President Trump said, everybody, he make a statement. It's not even a law. He said a policy that America for America, start deporting everybody. If you are born in America, you can't get citizenship again. But some states has a law that backs it already. So some of the states that has the law that backs it already are going to their Supreme Court. They say, hey, no, you are Mr. President, you can't just deport anybody that is born in my state. It's the state that gives them the power, not the national government. You understand? Not the national government. So sometimes a policy may just be something, a statement can just be a written document that, okay, this is how I want us to follow, but it may not be the law. So you can challenge the policy in court. Be challenged in court, but if it has been passed, you have to abide by it. You have to abide by it. So when you make a law, but you want standards and things to be in aspect of the law, that is when you come up with regulation. There can be no regulation without law. You must have a law that will bring out regulation out of it. And when you have regulation, you also come up with standards. You also come up with standards that will follow that, okay, this is for NAFDAC now. They said if you want to do anything that has to do with food in Nigeria, you must package it very well. There must be labeled, date of manufacturing, date of expiring. Any food that has to do with this is the kind of container you can use it. Those are standards. They are NAFDAC standards. They are NAFDAC regulation. There's a law that guides NAFDAC. I think that gives the clarification. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So we're 7 minutes to the top of the hour. Just a final call for anyone who wants to open up their mic and ask a question. Okay, if there are no further questions, I want to say a huge thank you to our guest speaker.
Sorry, that's a new question. That's a new question. They said the person is a new monitoring officer, and if you want to take pictures, and the pictures you want to take, they are area boys who are in that area. No, so that is, if you are working in an environment that is hostile. That is, if you are working in an environment that is hostile. So I used to do one thing there. So if you work in Oshodi, I know I used to have a friend late now, Kadiku. Most of us, it was when I was in VI, it was in Oshodi. He was the monitoring officer for Oshodi then. He knows nearly all the Agbero. He knows everybody. He knows all of them. So if you're a monitoring officer working in a place that area boys are, I would advise you, try and look at who is their head. Find a way to go and meet the person, talk to the person. Yes, they are area boys, but they also have their good day. Most of these area boys, most of these Agbero, they respect government officials very well. They respect government officials. Introduce yourself. I'm the one in charge of this area. This is my duty. Sometimes I want to come and monitor. I'm not here to take the picture of your staff. I'm not here to take the picture of your face. I'm telling you, it will be the one that will tell you, any day you want to come and meet me. This is the person that will be following you. They've done it for me when they've done it for me when I was in VI in Kuramo. When we used to have Kuramo. They will tell me, Lasisi, come. When you come, this is the person. He will follow you. So when I'm taking my picture, going around, the boy will be following me around. So that's why I said, having interaction with the community you are working with, CDAs, CDCs that you are working with, will also help. So if you try and look at the edge of with the local government or the functionals where you are working, the CDAs, the ballet, most of the big boys in that area, they normally respect government officials. They normally respect government officials. Talk to them. I'm supposed to come and monitor refuse. I'm supposed to come and monitor gutter. I'm not here to take pictures. I'm not here to do this. They will tell you, when next you are coming, just come to my office. Somebody will follow you to go and help you to do those things. And that's the only thing I wish I can just share. I have somebody, you can mute yourself and speak. Your hand is still up. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Halima, and thank you so much for the beautiful session, sir. Thank you. It was really insightful. Yes, I actually wanted to give an insight with regards to the last question the person asked. Yes, there's something we call community leaders, whereby when you are going for like sensitization or you are going to meet, like you're doing something in a particular environment, irrespective of probably it is touts or individuals that are living in that area. When you actually get to a particular location, it is advisable that as an environmental person, you don't just go ahead or probably go into the community or market space or anywhere and just say you want to come and monitor or you want to take pictures. You seek, like you do your due diligence by meeting who the leader is. It actually saves you a lot of stress, because I had an encounter when Lagos with Regatta, they did it last year. So I went to, there is a fish market around that place where I went for sensitization to educate people about you bringing your waste, don't litter the environment and all like that. I can remember I had to go and meet the man called Fiki Marina, because I feel like he's a named person in that area, and like he has, he has like some kind of law, and he had to tell me, Alaja, I think you need to go and meet Olori Awon Agbero. So imagine that I just say fine, because I'm an intern in a firm, and I feel like I have the power because I have a government backing me. I just go into that area where they are actually, you see guys smoking in their end, they do not send you, and started taking pictures of them. At some point, a guy actually came to meet me, I like, who you be? Why are you taking picture? And I said, fine, I'm so sorry I'm doing this. I've actually met with somebody. And I would advise that even if I've actually met with a leader or someone that has a higher priority in that vicinity, sometimes when it comes to all these touts, they have fractions. You might say you've met someone, and like I told, okay, Eloba, Mr. Hey, you just see someone just come from the they will tell you, hey, Lori, so it does happen. So I advise that as an environmental person, there is this hierarchy of you being like, have a communication pattern for them. Even if you are very learned, your English is spray. Sometimes you really need to go really down for you to actually achieve what you want to do in that area. I just thought to chip in that experience I had last year. And thank you very much for the beautiful session. It was really a beautiful one. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining. I can relate. I can relate the location you are talking about. The location you are talking about is under the bridge in law school, if I'm right. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, you're right. Exactly.
Yes, under the bridge in law school. I told you,
Yes,
I work in VI. I work in VI for a long period, so I know Mr. Fiki. I know the Babaloja of the that used to be the head of the women selling under the bridge in law school. I used to stop there sometimes. I know nearly everybody there, and I know the boys. I know the boys there. There are sometimes I had a flat tire opposite law school. And you see the boys will just come under the bridge from there. They'll just come and meet you. I just relax. After I just pick my phone, I just call the person that's in charge of Morocco bus stop. Morocco bus stop, the area boys, they say, don't worry. Somebody will come. There's a roundabout there. The boy just came and said, don't disturb me. So like what you said is very, very important. Lagos that's our life. It's not only Lagos. When I was doing my program in California, there's a discussion about solid waste. You cannot do solid waste in New York if you don't have tie to the mafia. If you don't have tie to the mafia, you cannot do solid waste. You just every day you are parking refuse, it's dead body that you'll be parking in your zone. So every cities, every communities has its own peculiarity. So it is good for us to just understand our local terrain and do it very well. Thank you for the contribution.
Thank you all so much. I think for me, one of the parting words that I'm taking away is interpersonal skills are very much required, even as an environmentalist. So we need to add on other skill sets. It's a minute past 7, and I just want to say thank you all so much for staying with us till the very end. And we hope that you found this wholesome as we did. And bye for now till we see again. Thank you. Thank you very much, Alimat. We will connect with you on LinkedIn. Bye, everyone, and have a good weekend.
Thank you for joining us. Have a nice evening. Thank you all.
Jerry.